Hello students, welcome to the second session of the chapter Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. In the last class, we were discussing about the parts of the flower. In flower, there are mainly four parts. In that, androecium and gynoecium are the two important parts which are involved in the reproduction. And we have come to know that flower is the main reproductive part in the plants. In the flower, the main reproductive androecium and gynoecium. So we will talk about that androecium and gynoecium in detail. What are the structure involved in the reproduction and how the gametes are formed. First we will take up the androecium. Individual units are stamen. You know this is the stamen, single stamen. A stalk-like structure called filament. Two lobe-like structure called anther. Anther is connected by a tissue called connective. These are the parts of the stamen. If you observe the stamen in different flowers, the number of stamens and the length of the stamen will vary. But the basic structure remains the same with the filament, anther and the connective. Filament, the proximal end of the filament, it will be attached to the thalamus of the flower. This is the pedicel. In last class we have discussed, and the tip of the pedicel which is swollen is called thalamus. On this thalamus the filament will be attached. The proximal end of the filament will be attached. In general, in all the flowers, the filament will be attached to the thalamus. In some of the flowers, the filament, instead of thalamus, it will be attached to the petals. The stamens will be arising from the petals, means the filament will be attached to the petals. In that condition is called epipetalous. If the filament is attached to the petals, then it is called as epipetalous. So this is the single stamen. If you examine detailed structure of this stamen, that is an anther, two lobes of anther. Generally in all the flowers, there will be two lobes of anther. Only in some of the flower like hibiscus, only one lobe will be present, and this is called monolobe, and this is called bilobe. In all the flowers, the anthers will be of two lobes called bilobe. Only in some flowers, that is in hibiscus which comes to the family Malvaceae, it will be monolobe. If we study the detailed structure of the anther, we have to study only the anther because the pollen grains will be produced inside the anther, and in the pollen grain the gametes will be produced. For that, we have to focus on mainly on the anther because the filament only it connects the anther to the flower, and hence anther is the main part where the gametes are produced. So if we cut the anther, so this is the cut section of the anther, it appears in this way. Here you can see one lobe of anther and two lobe of anther. In one lobe there is a two tube-like structure will be present which is called theca. One lobe, two tube-like structure will be present, that is theca. In another lobe, again two theca will be present. And that condition is called dithecous condition. Because in one lobe, two, in another lobe, two. Totally, four will be present. And because in one lobe it is two, it is called dithecous condition. And these tubular-like structures are nothing but a tube-like structure which will be filled with the pollen, and hence it is called pollen sacs or pollen chambers. So inside this anther lobes, there will be two pollen sacs. In one lobe, two pollen sacs. In another lobe, two pollen sacs. Totally four pollen sacs because it will be filled with pollen grains, and hence it is called pollen sacs or pollen chambers. So this is after the maturity, it is called as pollen sacs or pollen chambers. But initially the same pollen sacs, it is called microsporangium. Okay, singular microsporangium, many microsporangia. So this pollen sacs, when the anther is young, this pollen sacs is called microsporangia. So this is the detailed structure of the anther. So this is only a partial portion of the anther has been cut. If you want to know the detailed structure of the anther, take a thin section of the anther and observe under compound microscope. And this is called TS of anther or transverse section of anther. In the anther, you can see there is an 4 microsporangia are present, and this microsporangia is surrounded by an wall layers. So this structure is very important. It will be asked for 5 marks in your board exams. And hence the anther in the center, there will be an 4 microsporangia, appears to be like 4 corners, and hence entire anther, it is called tetragonal shape. Entire anther is called tetragonal in shape because of the 4 corners with 4 microsporangia. And these 4 microsporangia, outer, it is surrounded by the wall layers. These are the wall layers. And here, completely outermost wall layer, the first wall layer is called epidermis. Mainly there will be 4 wall layers. The outermost layer is called epidermis, and it will be of single layer. Next to the epidermis, below the epidermis, the second wall layer is called endothecium. That is also a single layer. And next to the endothecium, 2 to 3 layers of middle layers will be present. Middle layers, it is 2 to 3 layers. And one more wall layer will be present, and which surrounds the microsporangium, which is called as tapetum. So in this way, the entire anther or the microsporangium, it is been surrounded by 4 wall layers. Epidermis, outermost single layer. Next to the epidermis, endothecium. Even this is single layer. And next to the endothecium, it is 2 to 3 layers of middle layers. And these epidermis, endothecium and middle layers, all it will protect the anther. It is going to protect the anther and also helps in the opening up of the anther. The anther will be open because later what we call it as microsporangium, in the ear the pollen grains will be produced. But this is an young anther, and hence we are not observing the pollen grains, but gradually here the pollen grains is going to develop. In order to release the pollen grains, this anther has to open, also called rupture. Rupture or open. The anther is going to open, which is called as dehiscence. Dehiscence of anther. Dehiscence of anther means opening up of the anther or rupturing of the anther in order to release the pollen grains. These epidermis, endothecium, middle layers all together protect the anther and as well as helps in dehiscence of the anther. And next comes to the innermost wall layer, that is the tapetum. And this tapetum function is very important because it will nourishes the pollen grains. And here in this microsporangium, the cells, it is going to develop into pollen grains, and that pollen grains will be nourished by the wall layer, that is the tapetum. So tapetum is also a single wall layer, and it is dense cytoplasm, means rich in cytoplasm. The cytoplasmic content will be more rich in cytoplasm, and it is multinucleate. Multinucleate. more than one nuclei will be present, and hence it is called as a multinucleate. So this is an characteristic features of the wall layer, that is the tapetum, rich in cytoplasm and multinucleate, and the main function of the tapetum is to nourish the pollen grains which gradually develops. But this is an young anther, and hence it cannot absorb the pollen grains. And next, one more part in the anther, that is an inside the tapetum, a mass of cells which is present is called sporogenous tissue. Sporogenous tissue, and from this tissue only the later the pollen grains is going to develop. Sporogenous tissue, this will gradually, it will undergo meiosis and gives rise to the microspores, which later called as pollen grains. Okay, later that we will be studying in detail when we take up the events. But this is in general the structure of the anther, also called as a structure of the microsporangium. Structure of microsporangium. So totally there will be how many microsporangium? 4 microsporangium in the 4 corners of the anther, and hence it is called tetragonal in shape, the anther, or also sometimes referred as tetramicrosporangiate condition because of 4 microsporangia. And this entire anther made up of only 4 wall layers and innermost tissue sporogenous tissue. So this is the structure of the anther. So let me repeat once again. The entire anther is surrounded by 4 wall layers. Outermost epidermis. Next to the epidermis endothecium. Both are single layered. And next to the endothecium innermost 2 to 3 layers of middle layers. All together protect the anther and helps in rupture or opening up of the anther, which is called as dehiscence of anther. And one more wall layer present inner side, it surrounds the microsporangium called tapetum, and it is rich in cytoplasm with, because of many nuclei, multinucleate, and main function of tapetum is to nourish the pollen grains, which is going to develop from the sporogenous tissue which is present inside the tapetum. So this is the structure of the anther. Now let us see how this sporogenous tissue is going to develop into pollen grains. Okay. So there are many sporogenous tissue will be present. Now let us take one cell, and what are the events which is going to occur, let us study, and all the same process will occur in all the sporogenous tissue. Even in this microsporangium, this in all the microsporangium, the same process is going to take place. After the pollen grains development, the anther is going to open to release the pollen grains. And as here, the sporogenous tissue, here, sporogenous tissue, it is going to differentiate into microspore mother cell, microspore mother cell, or also called pollen mother cell. This sporogenous tissue, it is going to differentiate. Many cells will be present, and all the cells is going to differentiate into microspore mother cell or pollen mother cell, which will be diploid in condition, and this undergo meiosis. In your first year classes you have studied about the meiosis, and at the end of the meiosis 4 cells will be formed. By the meiosis 1 and meiosis 2, 4 cells will be formed. In the same way, microspore mother cell undergo meiosis, and here all the 4 cells will be formed and all the cells will be intact together, and hence it is called microspore tetrad. Microspore tetrad, because all the 4 cells will be together. And these cells, which are the product of the meiosis, and these cells will be haploid in condition because of the reduction of the chromosomes. And these microspore tetrad later separates on dehydration, and all the spores it will get separated and become an individual spores, which is called microspores. Microspores. And these microspores later develop into pollen grains. So that we'll discuss in our further classes how this microspores is going to develop by developing a wall layer and some changes in the cytoplasm. This microspore is going to develop into an pollen grain. But this entire process of the sporogenous tissue which is present inside the microsporangium, it is going to differentiate into microspore mother cell, undergo meiosis to form microspore tetrad, and these microspore by losing the water, it is going to get separated, which is called microspore. This process of development of microspore from the sporogenous tissue by the meiosis, this entire process it is called microsporogenesis. Genesis means formation. The formation of microspore from the sporogenous tissue by the meiosis. This process is called as microsporogenesis. Okay, let me repeat. Formation of microspore from the sporogenous tissue by the meiosis. This entire process is called as microsporogenesis. In this way, from the anther, the story was started from the anther, and we have studied the structure of the anther, just a cut section, and this is a detailed structure of the anther, and in that anther, how the sporogenous tissue is going to develop into microspores. Later, the same microspores develops into pollen grains, and inside that pollen grains we will find the male gametes. Okay. So at the process it will continue. It is not the end because we don't find the male gametes. These pollen grains, after the development of pollen grains from the microspores, there the male gamete will be present. Pollen grains, after releasing from the anther, it is going to, so it will land on the stigma, and then the male gametes will be transferred. That is a detail, again it will continue. So in this way, from the anther microspores are formed, and this is a stamen with the filament, connective and the anther, and the detailed structure of the anther with the wall layers, epidermis, endothelium, middle layers and tapetum together called wall layers protect, and these epidermis, endothelium, middle layers protect and rupture the anther, and tapetum it will nourishes the pollen grains, and inside that sporogenous tissue will be present, and this sporogenous tissue it will undergo differentiation to form microspore mother cell. After meiosis develops into microspore tetrad and then into microspores, and this microspores is going to develop into pollen grains. So this is the structure of the anther, the microsporogenesis, and this anther structure is very important. It is a major, it will be asked for the major question, that is 5 marks. Okay, how the pollen grains will be developed, we'll discuss that in the next session. Thank you.